Hi, I'm Ricky Allen,
And I'm Cathy Griffith.
and welcome to another one of our webinars, a conversation about real estate. We love doing these, and hopefully our listeners are starting to get some traction and look for these.
Yeah, and today we're talking about what our role is as a buyer's broker.
Right.
And it's not to go over what our broker's duties are as far as the New Mexico Real Estate Commission,
Right.
but this is more a chat to learn about how we represent buyers and what we think is important and how we can help a buyer.
So what would you like to start with? What do you think is so important?
I think communication is key when you're working with buyers, and usually this day and age, a buyer is going to send you a list of these are the houses I want to see, right? Because they've seen them on Zillow, and so part of our job is coordinating, getting them into these houses.
Yeah. The days, Cathy, of people our clients calling us and say, find us a property, are about over.
Right.
Everybody is already doing their own searching online, and 90% of the time they're calling us with the properties they'd like to see.
Right. That's right. But we can still add some, add value in saying, have you thought about this area?
Yeah.
And I know I'm preaching to the choir with this one, but I'm a big advocate, especially for people who aren't locals. And most of the business we do is people coming from out of state.
Right.
And they see this house, but they have no context of the neighborhood or the surrounding areas or anything. Mm-hmm. So I believe it's really important to take your buyers to all of the different neighborhoods, because El Dorado is different than Tesuque, is different than Las Campanas. And I recently was talking with someone, and they bought a house here. I just met them casually, so I didn't work with them. But they had no idea that X neighborhood or X area even existed.
Right.
Because their broker just took them to that specific spot that they were looking at.
Yeah, I hear where people have moved to Santa Fe and they didn't even know that this one neighborhood existed.
Right, and I think that's a disservice to people.
Right, yeah. So it's one of the main things we do with buyers from out of town is we just drive around a lot. And before we even see houses, we just drive and get them familiar with Santa Fe. I think one of the most important things we can do for our buyer clients is, in the beginning, is just listen. Try to understand what their needs are, what their goals are, where they are in life. Many times we will have them come into our office and just have a conversation with them. Just introduce ourselves, and not even talking about properties as much as getting to know each other,
Right.
And the buyer-broker client relationship is very intimate. I mean, it's very close. We spend a lot of
time together.
I kid, but there's a half truth to this, is that, we are part realtors and part psychologists and counselors, because we are they're sharing with us everything that's going on in their lives. And
that's the part we love.
And we love that, just giving advice. Sometimes it's not even real estate related, or just hearing where they're coming from. And they share with us, very intimate details about what's going on in their life, whether it's financial stuff that they don't even share with their family,
Right.
So it's we respect and we're sensitive to how important our role is into it. So I think at the beginning, just listening to them and understanding where they are in life and what they're looking for in a home is probably the most important.
And what's cool is, because that time frame is so intense, generally at the end of it, you're friends.
Right.
Because you've spent so much time together, and then you have shared so much with each other.
That's why I love what we do,
Me too. I do think, and sometimes, people, not often, but sometimes people don't know what they want.
Oh.
And they're kind of all over the board.
Oh, yes.
And you just have to kind of kindly and gently shepherd them.
Yeah, well, how often does a buyer say they're looking for X and they end up
buying Y?
falling in love with Y.
It's
and
true.
So it's very, very often that happens. So we have to be somewhat open-minded to showing them things that maybe aren't exactly what they told us if we begin to understand what they're looking for and say, hey, how about this property?
Right, right.
And that leads to another thing that I think is very, very important and as far as one of our roles in helping buyers, and that is really understanding the market. I mean, at the end of the day, we can get along with them and we can have a great relationship and we can really like each other.
Right.
But one of our core competencies as a broker is to really know the market.
Absolutely.
And they're relying upon that. And when we start zeroing in on a property, they're looking to us for advice on, what the price should be.
Right.
And we better be well educated on the average days on market, on the average price in that area, and on the whole process.
Right, because they are looking to us to give our opinion on, is the house worth this much? What should I offer? And we also want them, to get as much as they can for their money.
Right. Yeah, not overbuy.
Right.
And always, when we're getting close to making an offer, I start discussing with my clients the fact that I'm turning on my resale hat now, and I'm telling our buyers, let me also play a listing broker with you, and if for some reason, and I know you don't see it, but for some reason you would call us and say circumstances have changed, we want to sell the home, we need to talk about resale, and here's what's going to be easy and hard about reselling this, even though you fall in love with it. Here's what we'll be up against when we go to resell it.
Right, and that's a big part of why you don't want to overpay.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
I think a big part of our role is facilitating the inspections and getting through the inspection process.
Right, and we always give a lot of different names out to our clients. It's up to them to interview them or call them and talk to them and pick them, but we'll give them some names that we've used in the past.
Right, but people often think, and this is something we educate our buyers on, people often think, okay, we offered this price, they potentially countered with that price, we settled at this price, and they think that's the end of the negotiations.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the easiest part.
That's the easy part sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the next round of negotiations is once the buyers have had the home inspected, and they have found some things that they want cured, that's your next round of negotiations.
Yeah, getting through that. And sometimes it's very emotional for sellers, and so getting through the inspection process takes an experienced hand to get that agreed to by both parties. You mentioned out-of-town buyers. We do have a lot of out-of-town buyers, and I think one of the things that we provide for them is this live video chatting from properties. And photos that they see online sometimes can be not so accurate, is a polite way of saying it.
Because you can't see the floor plan, you can't envision where that room is in the house.
Yeah, so we'd like to go out and do a live video chat. Now, if there's not a good internet service, sometimes we have to tape that video. But
yes, I actually had some clients who I'd been with, took them out live and looked at homes, but they went back to their respected home state. By the time they found a home that they loved, I FaceTimed the home with them. We wrote a contract that got accepted. They closed on the home. I did the walkthrough on FaceTime. They've bought this home in Santa Fe. They've never even seen it live.
Oh my.
So that can happen with this day and age in technology.
And we talk about this a lot, and that is having our buyers prepared. Pre-qualification or pre-approval, and I don't want to play lender here, but we certainly want our clients, if they're going to need a loan, we want them talking to a lender early on and getting pre-qualified or pre-approved. And again, without being a lender here, there is a difference between pre-qual and pre-approval. Pre-qualification is the first step, and it usually does not require documentation of assets and income.
Well, especially in certain price points, the market is so competitive. So you need to submit an offer with the lender pre-approval letter.
Yeah.
That's just making a stronger offer.
Yeah.
So that's some of the recommendations we can give to buyers.
Yeah, and talk to a lender, and then lender will explain to the clients the difference between a pre-qual and a pre-approval. Pre-approval is usually the step after pre-qual, and it usually requires documentation of assets and liabilities and income. But the lender, and we do give names of lenders, local lenders, to our clients. And the last thing I want to touch on, and that is the fact that the offer purchase agreement form is something that we should go over, and we do go over with our clients before we make an offer.
Yes.
And this is really important because when we finally find a home that our clients love, sometimes we're up against a time constraint. We don't want to lose it. And there's this urgency to get the offer in. And if we have already gone over the whole purchase agreement form, paragraph by paragraph, with our clients, then we won't have to take that time that we need to get this offer in.
Right.
Then. And so early on in the process, before we even find a home, we give our clients a copy of the form to review, and then we talk about it with them. We have a meeting with them and just discuss, here's the nuts and bolts of the purchase agreement.
Good point. It's an important step.
Yeah, I think we address a lot of the role that we have with our buyers.
Represent buyers. So, buyers, if you are ready, Ricky and I are ready for you.
Thanks.